Hello and good morning. So it is admittedly Tuesday. I didn't really get anything, I didn't film anything yesterday because it was just a bit of a day. I woke up, my camera was dead, so it just kind of got away from me. And I didn't really, it wasn't crazy busy, but I do feel like I've lived a lot of lives since yesterday morning. I had my class, my morning class. Then I was kind of working off and on until later in the afternoon when I had an appointment at Rhodes House just to discuss applications for next year. And then, yeah, was working in the library at Pembroke again, and then had a Pembroke book club, which this was the second meeting. I think that we were maybe a few less than last time, but still a pretty good sized group. And I'm really enjoying doing that. I've never been part of a book club before. So it's a really just like a nice experience, and it's a fun thing to do as well. I think especially since I'm not in just a straight up English course. So it's nice to still kind of like have that, be reading books and talking about that, like to still be discussing literature in that way is really nice. Sylvia Plath like maybe isn't my go-to, but I think that like it sparks good conversations and good debates. Like both sessions we've talked about like separating the author's life from the work, which is quite hard to do with Sylvia Plath, and I think it's not like how people usually approach her poetry, so it wouldn't have been my like, I guess I would just kind of naturally read all of these poems through like with the context of her own life. And I think that you definitely, I don't know if I should say should, but like you can absolutely, and they are incredibly personal, but I think it's also an interesting practice to just like look at the poem as itself and not necessarily assume that Plath herself is the speaker in the poem. I think that that's, you know, it's made me like approach the poems differently. I don't know, but yeah, it's been really fun. I don't have anything scheduled until later this afternoon, so I'm just gonna do some work here and then probably head out to my class. So I'm about to head out to my class. This is my outfit today. It's supposed to get to like 13, 14 degrees, so another warm day here, which is, I suppose, nice. Although I'm very much looking forward to it being like the holiday-esque weather. But yeah, gonna head out. We have 2 presentations today from people running digital projects at Oxford, so should be interesting. Hi there, so I am back from my classes. Both presentations were really interesting, a lot of cool information. And I believe both projects are options for the practicum that we'll be doing in a few months. So lots to think about. And then, yeah, I kind of just came back to my room. I think I'm gonna have a pretty chill night. Pretty much all of my friends from college are going on a university exchange, or college exchange. So basically the way that what these are is you can sign up to be part of these exchanges, and then, so like for example, this one is with University College. So first, the people who were part of the university exchange came to Pembroke and had a formal dinner, see the college and everything. And then this week, the people from Pembroke who signed up and were accepted get to go to university and have a formal dinner there. We've had 2 so far. I've tried to sign up for both, but haven't been selected. The chart or the form just said something about like, we'll decide in the usual way. So I don't know what the usual way is that they decide, but I haven't gotten in yet. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what they think. I believe University College is where Bill Clinton went, I think. And I've walked past it and I've kind of gotten a little glimpse inside, but yeah, I don't actually know too much about that college specifically or what the grounds look like and everything. So I'm excited to hear their feedback. But yeah, I'll probably just have a quiet night. Good morning. It's Wednesday, which means that I have my morning class today. And then later this afternoon, I'm going to try to go to another one of the Tolkien lectures. I think there's like 4 left, maybe 3 or 4. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check what the one today is about. But yeah, that's the plan for today. Hi guys, so to check in, I just got back from my class. I'd forgotten there is no Tolkien lecture today. They have a week break before they start up again. So I don't have anything this afternoon. So I was trying to decide like, oh, do I want to go to the rad cam? Then I was like, if I'm boring and I just go back to my room to work, I can put a load of laundry on. Good morning, everybody. So today is exciting because we have another Bodleian field trip for my course. So today we're going to the special collections, and it's cool because we actually have to take a bus. I'm not totally sure where they are, but yeah. So we have to go meet somewhere and then we'll drive there. First time I've been in a vehicle since we got here, so it'll be exciting. And then should get back in time to head to the Python class, and then perhaps ballroom dancing tonight. We'll see. Yeah, so that's the plan for today. Hello. So this morning we took the coach to Swindon to tour the Bodleian collection facility because I didn't know what to expect, but it is essentially a warehouse, which makes sense. So they collect all these books. They have books coming in every day because essentially the Bodleian receives a copy of every book published by a British press. So they're getting a lot in all the time. And then, you know, if a student requests a book that is stored there, they'll get it. I think they have 2 pickups a day, so they're able to get books to students within like a day or so from when they've requested it. Yeah, it's these massive like floor to ceiling shelves. It's quite crazy. And like the organization completely makes sense for it as a warehouse. But when you're used to, I guess, libraries, it seems so weird because the books are organized by size. So it'll be one tray that has books from like all different years, all different genres, different subjects, you know, like there's no rhyme or reason for why these books are together other than that they're the same size. So it's a crazy system, but it obviously works very well. It's this like temperature controlled room. They have these like big pipes that suck up dust. Yeah, it was very cool to see. And then we came back. I got lunch at the Union with one of the girls from the course, just had a sandwich. The best bread that I've had since I've been at Oxford. And then my Python class was moved to be over Teams today. So that's what I was just doing, and I just finished. Now I have a couple hours and some girls from college and I are going to go to a ballroom dancing class because we bought tickets for this ball basically, and we're entitled to go to, like with the tickets you're allowed to go to these like ballroom dancing classes for free. So we're going to do that tonight, but in the meantime I'm nearly done Stoneblind, so I'm going to try to read a few more pages from that before we head out. Good morning. So yeah, it's Friday morning. Dancing last night was really fun. There was definitely way more girls there than there was guys. So the 4 of us just danced together. So I mostly just learned how to lead, but I practiced following a little bit. So I might be able to go backwards if push comes to shove. But yeah, it was really fun. Probably go again. I think we can go to at least one more lesson, maybe more for free. I'm not totally sure how it works because the ball is next Friday, I guess. So there'd be like 2 more classes before then, I think. But yeah, that was really fun. I also managed to finish Stoneblind, so I'll tell you my thoughts on it later. But today I just have my text analysis class, and then I think I'm going to go to the rad camp today. I do have a book to pick up, so I legitimately have to go before the 30th anyway, because I think that's how long they're holding it for. So yeah, gonna go there, do some studying, and then later tonight I have some plans with the girls from college. So go see a movie, and then there's bar night tonight, but it's a bop, so it's themed. Okay, so I'm about to go out for Eras, followed by the Alien Superstar bop. My outfit is not really Taylor Swift or Alien Superstar, Alien/Beyonce, but it will be passable for both. It's all riding on this jacket. But yeah, I'm quite excited for the movie. I have watched the Reputation tour on Netflix, so I imagine it'll be like a similar vibe. So yeah, gonna head out, have some dinner, and then go to the movie. Good morning, everybody. It is the weekend. However, I don't have a particularly chill day today. Rhodes is hosting an applications afternoon, basically kind of like a workshop for those of us who are on one-year courses that are submitting applications for next year. So yeah, it'll be good to hear more about the DPhil applications, the DPhil program, because it's quite different to PhDs in the States and in other universities. And then also about, you know, applying for a second master's and what that looks like. So yeah, I'm excited to learn more about it. I think that there's probably like some talks, and then I think they break into like smaller groups. I don't know if it's like hands-on workshops or if it's still more just like talking and sharing information. We'll see. But yeah, last night was really fun. Went to the Eras movie. It's very long. It's like, yeah, it's 3 hours. I think the concert is like 3.5, 3:45. So they still cut some stuff out. It's very cool though. It's the only way I will experience the Eras tour. But it looks like it would be so fun to attend. I loved the Reputation set. Reputation isn't, like, I like the album, but it's not my favorite album. But the choreography, the performance is so cool. I also really liked the choreography for This Is Me Trying. That one was really cool. I will say by like the last half hour of the movie, you're kind of like, okay, this is getting kind of long, but it's still quite cool to see. And then we stopped by the Alien Superstar themed bop. It wasn't crazy busy. I think we've only had one bop, which I've been to, and it was quite early on, so basically everyone in the MCR at Pembroke went, so it was like packed. But this was more chill. It was kind of similar to just like a regular bar night. Quite a few people in costume, which was cool. I don't know who won the costume contest. They must have done that earlier in the day or earlier in the evening. But yeah, it was fun. And then I just came back and went to bed. So you might be able to tell that I made a very bad decision on my walk home. When I left Rhodes' house at like 5:30-ish, 6 o'clock today, it was just kind of drizzling. So it would have been dramatic to get out the umbrella that I had in my backpack. And then as I walked a little bit, I was like, well, I'm already wet. I'm not gonna get it out now. And then it kept coming down and I was soaked, and it was like, well, now I'm soaked. I can't have my umbrella out, even though I'm like drenched. So, but other than that, the Rhodes application day was really good. I wasn't sure what to expect, if it was gonna be more like practical, like let's get into groups and work on our, or like look at applications and like, here's what your CV should be, blah, 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 like that kind of thing. But it was a panel, an expert panel. So like people who are professionals, former Rhodes Scholars who are now professionals, have been working for a while, talking about the degrees that they did and how that like played into their career trajectory. And then we had a peer panel, so it was upper year scholars still in school talking about their application process and decision-making process. And then we did a couple breakout groups into like humanities, social sciences. I think there was engineering, maybe physics, like hard sciences. And yeah, it was mostly tailored to like choosing between masters or DPhil. That was kind of like the big conversation. And a lot of different perspectives, heard a lot of different perspectives on like an Oxford DPhil specifically, and like some people love that experience, some people don't, because it's not a lot of classwork, it's very like independent research, which can just be quite isolating, so it's kind of just like preferences for style almost. And then also like the DPhil versus master's route and what's right for you, I guess. So yeah, it was really nice to hear different perspectives. It was a long day because we started at like 12:30. That's why I haven't really like shown clips of anything else, because I was just at Rhodes listening to presentations. And I look like this now. So I think I'm just gonna stay in, maybe do some laundry, and there's some stuff that I want to read, and then maybe watch a movie. Yeah. Hey there, so it's Sunday. It's been raining pretty good all day, so I've just kind of been waiting it out in my room because it's supposed to stop. It was supposed to stop sometime this morning. But yeah, I've just been doing some work in here. That's kind of the plan for today, and then there's a formal this evening. So I think I'm gonna work a little more here, then I might go to either Radcam or the Pembroke Library later this afternoon just for a change of scenery. Yeah, that's kind of it for the day. But I also wanted to talk about Stoneblind, which I finished a couple of days ago. And I have mixed feelings about this. I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it as much as I had been anticipating. This is by Natalie Haynes. It's a Medusa retelling. It kind of promises to be, okay, so it says, a fresh and stunningly perceptive take on the story of Medusa, the original monstered woman. And I just think I expected it to be more focused on Medusa than it actually was. It's got a lot of point of views, which some of them were like the most interesting parts of the book. Like there's one chapter that's narrated by a crow, which is like, it's quite unique and it's interesting and it's cool, but also like decentering Medusa so much from the story is, I think, where it kind of weakens it. So inevitably any sort of Greek retelling is going to be compared to Madeline Miller, and this is most similar to Circe. I would say, like, more so than Song of Achilles. I wouldn't say it's, and I think Circe is better. I think that they're very different books though, they're very different styles. I saw one Goodreads review that said how Miller like is so committed to Circe's perspective, and that's where it really shines. And this book kind of does the opposite. Medusa doesn't have very many POV chapters at all. And near the end of the book, I'm not sure how I feel about this choice. So after Perseus decapitates her, her head takes on a point of view, and I think actually has more chapters than Medusa does through the rest of the book. But the head is sort of, it's not Medusa. Like, the head thinks of Medusa as, you know, the whole of her before, and even as the body, the rest of her body, but the head is like someone new, which is really creative, but I just don't know how I feel about that, like kind of disassociating her with Medusa. And then it's also just the writing style. It took me a while to get used to. It's very like simplistic and direct. It's not particularly descriptive, so it's kind of a slow book to get into, and I think that that worked really well, like in Athena's perspective or any of the gods' perspective, because it does really show how they're like kind of narcissistic and self-involved, and like how they think differently than other characters, even other immortal characters. Like, I really liked seeing the differences between Athena and Medusa's sisters. And kind of the one point that is repeated throughout the story is this idea of like who decides what a monster is, and Perseus just thinks Medusa is a monster because he like doesn't understand her, hasn't taken the time to try to understand the Gorgons, and that it's not, you know, within his like frame of reference for beauty. And that's also repeated with Poseidon when Poseidon actually comes to assault Medusa. And yeah, I don't know, but something that didn't make sense to me is Athena is kind of tasked by Zeus to help Perseus, and Perseus refers to them as a monster, and Athena kind of tears him down a little bit for the same point. She's like, who are you to say who a monster is? Just because like the Gorgons don't look like human women, they're monstrous, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't make sense because Medusa because Athena made Medusa look more like a Gorgon, like she gave her the snakes for hair and the gaze to turn people to stone. Like she, as a punishment, like it was a specific targeted act of revenge against this perceived slight because she couldn't go after Poseidon at the time. So she decided to take it out on Medusa, and she decided that that was a punishment. So like, I don't know if that's just a kind of random inconsistency in the story, or if it was a purposeful choice to show that Athena is also inconsistent. I don't know. It was odd. And I also, like, I wish that it was more focused in on Medusa's perspective, because she's her character isn't given much depth, and to be fair, none of the characters really are, except for her sisters. Honestly, they were one of my favorite parts of the book, like seeing them like changing and how they're immortal, and they're, you know, they kind of revel in being powerful and being the thing that like mortal men fear. But that they still change, and they still have this like compassion and empathy compared to the Olympians. And Athena's character and her point of view chapters were also really interesting, even though like she's definitely not a hero in the story. Like it was, I don't know, hers were just more interesting than Medusa's, and she was a more dynamic character than Medusa, which I found strange, other than it was trying to show how, I guess, Medusa was just this innocent, but we didn't even really get that much of that. Like, she was just kind of bland throughout the whole thing, which I found odd. And then Perseus, in all of his chapters, is just kind of like, he sets out on this quest because he's trying to save his mother. But then in the narrators and other POV chapters, like, call him this thug, and that he's like murder happy and he's horrible, and you know what he does to all these women. And I thought that was an interesting take through the I'm not sure if this is how you pronounce it, the Graiai episode, like the three women who share one eye and one tooth, because you see him kind of like outsmarting them, whatever, and then afterwards it's this chapter that's like, did you take a second to think about how they lived after he left, like blind and hungry? And it was interesting then, but then it kind of became way too exaggerated, because Perseus, maybe near the end of the novel, particularly when he has Medusa's head, does become quite ruthless, and yeah, is quite happy to turn random people to stone for no particular reason. But we don't really see that throughout the quest, so those chapters just felt quite inconsistent with how Perseus was established as a character. I don't know, it was kind of odd. But yeah, overall, it's still like an enjoyable read. I just don't know if it delivers on what it promises. And I still want to read her other books, particularly A Thousand Ships. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say, compared to like Madeline Miller or Pat Barker, I don't know if this like is quite as successful as like a feminist, more female-centered telling of one of these stories. But now I have two more physical books here with me, because I won Yellowface at the student fair, and then I also brought Babel. My mom bought me Stoneblind, so this is the one that I got just before I left. It's set at Oxford, of course, so it's very on brand, it's on theme. I think I'm gonna read this one next, or potentially finish one of the books I downloaded on my Kindle with the kind of like going away gift my sister gave got for me. Because I've been reading like one of Tessa Bailey's old books, so it shouldn't take me very long to finish that one. So I'm either going to finish that one first or start this. Yeah. So I wound up going to the college library. It was very busy. I guess everyone had the same idea as me. But I found a desk and I finished my readings for this week for classes. And then I just went and had a bit of a walk, and I went into this store that I've noticed every time I've been to the Union that looks really cute from the outside, and I went in and it's also very cute on the inside. They have a lot of like decor, some journals, that kind of thing, cards, a lot of Christmas decorations. Yeah, I've just kind of been hanging out and reading before I go to the formal. So it'll be the dinner tonight and then their second dessert after. So I'll probably say goodbye here. Maybe I will see you guys next week.